Sean McVay versus Matt Nagy, Mitchell Trubisky versus Jared Goff, Khalil Mack versus Aaron Donald, LA versus Chicago. Guys, no matter what team you're a fan of, if you're a Bears fan, a Rams fan, or just an NFL fan in general, this is going to be one of the craziest games of the entire year to watch. So what's up, Bears fans? I'm back again with the prediction videos, and this week, obviously, we got week 14 of the NFL season. Our Chicago Bears are facing off against the best team in the entire NFL on primetime again on Sunday night. And to be honest, I'm a little bit worried about this game because obviously we're not going to be favored in this game to win it all because you got the Rams being the best team in the NFL, and we kind of just lost to the Giants, so we're not exactly coming off a good showing. But the good part is that most likely Trubisky is going to be back. The time I'm recording this video, they just announced that Trubisky is expected to play. So most likely Trubisky will be playing in this game. But yeah, it's going to be a very tough game to win. And, I'm just pumped that we have the opportunity to play in a game of this magnitude on primetime football. So the LA Rams are first place in the entire NFL. They're 11-1. They have some pretty crazy wins this season. They won that Monday Night Shootout against the Chiefs, which was a very entertaining game to watch. And overall, they just have such a dynamic, amazing team. You look at their defense, it hasn't been living up to expectations based on what people thought it would be like this season. Obviously their defensive line has been very good, but their defense as a whole actually has not been that great. They're currently ranked 18th in total yards given up per game. They give up about 367 yards per game, so their secondary has been lacking a lot. But the real strength of this team is definitely on its offense. You look at Sean McVay and what the weapons that the Rams have. I mean, they can beat you in so many different ways. Jared Goff is the MVP candidate. Todd Gurley is the MVP candidate as well. So, we really have to be careful of these weapons the Rams have. So it is going to be extremely tough to beat this team. But if we actually somehow manage to beat this team, by all means, the Bears are a Super Bowl contender then. I mean, we kind of already are now. I feel like we're on the fringe of being a Super Bowl contender. But if we actually beat the Rams on primetime, forget it, dude. The Bears are going to be Super Bowl contenders no matter what. If you look at what the media has been saying and just fans in general, nobody is obviously picking the Bears to win, and I don't blame them fully, but a lot of people are not even giving the Bears a chance to win in this game, and that's completely absurd. Like, the Bears at home have been extremely dominant. They only have one loss to the Patriots, which that was only by 7 points as well, so the Bears have as good a chance as any team in the league to beat the Rams, especially being at home in Soldier Field where it's going to be cold as hell. It's going to be loud. It's going to be crazy, a crazy atmosphere. So let's get into the 3 keys to a Bears victory. The key number 1 is going to be to get the ball out as quick as you possibly can. Now, this is partly something that Matt Nagy has to take care of, and also Trubisky as well, because Matt Nagy has to call the right plays for Trubisky, and Trubisky actually has to execute them. The Rams, if you haven't noticed, have probably the nastiest defensive line in the entire NFL. If I'm going to read out the names right here, Aaron Donald, you got Brockers, you got Ebukam, you got Sue, you got Dante Fowler Jr. I mean, you got so many Pro Bowlers just on the defensive line, which is absolutely insane. Like, the collection of talent they have on just this one team, it's absurd. And they can get to the quarterback extremely fast. Aaron Donald, he leads the league in sacks. He has 16.5. So our interior O-line, they're going to have their hands full with this team. And if Trubisky, one thing that we can do to kind of stop this pass rush is to actually get the ball out quick. You saw the teams that actually beat us, the way that they countered our pass rush is by getting the ball out fast. Like Aaron Rodgers, the Dolphins game, the Patriots game, they all got the ball out fast. So, our pass rush didn't really have that much time to get to them. So Matt Nagy, the plays you have to call, employ some screen passes, some shallow crosses. Just get receivers out in space quickly. I don't want us to do many long developing routes, which obviously you can in certain points in the game, but don't make that your main focus, because against a team like this, you're not going to have that much time to throw the ball. So Trubisky, if the pressure is getting to you, try to get the ball out fast. Throw the ball away. Don't take sacks, because if you even let this defensive line touch you, they're going to hit you hard. So I would rather have you not take any more hits. One thing along with this that's going to be vital is that Trubisky also has to use his mobility. And he has to use it wisely. Like, when he actually decides to run, take the ball out, slide at the right time. That play with Harrison Smith, I realized that a lot of it was still Trubisky's fault for not sliding at the right time. So you can avoid injury by sliding at the right time. But in this game, you're most likely going to have to run, go out of the pocket because obviously that's their defensive line is going to get to you. But Trubisky has the wheels. He has speed. He was the leading rushing QB in the NFL, but he sat out the last 2 games. So I don't think he is anymore. But regardless, Trubisky, you have to use your legs, but get the ball out quick as you can. Key number 2 is going to be make Jared Goff beat you through the air. Now, I know that's kind of a selection that most people are not going to agree with because, Jared Goff has been lighting the league on fire. If you guys have not noticed, he is an MVP candidate. He's a young superstar. He has 27 touchdowns this season to 7 interceptions, and he's just looked absolutely phenomenal in so many games this year, especially with the coach like Sean McVay that really brings out the best of him. Jared Goff is tough to beat. He's a very good player. But I would much rather have Jared Goff beat us than Todd Gurley. And the reason is that when Todd Gurley gets going, that's when the Rams offense becomes truly unstoppable. But when only Jared Goff is, going and Todd Gurley isn't really doing much, I guess it makes it a little bit easier to beat them. Obviously not that much because they've only lost 1 game the entire year. But the only games that have been close for the Rams, the Minnesota game, not the only ones, but some of the only ones that have been close, the Minnesota game, the Saints game, and the Chiefs game. In those games, Jared Goff actually had a good game. Like against the Minnesota Vikings, he had 465 yards. Against the Saints, he had 391. Against the Chiefs, he had 413 yards. But all those games were either close games or they lost. The Saints won, they lost. So what I'm trying to say here is that we can let Jared Goff have an amazing game as long as we stop Todd Gurley. Because if Todd Gurley gets going, then I don't think it's going to be close because our defense, we cannot stop both at once. We have to pick our poison. And in this situation, I would rather have Jared Goff beat us because, combining the ground game and the passing game, it's just going to be too much to handle. Now, our defense, I think, is well equipped to handle this offense. Obviously, we're not going to stop them by any means, but our secondary has been phenomenal in certain situations. If we can get some turnovers going, Eddie Jackson, if he can get another pick 6, that'd be great. But our defense should be able to do, a good job at least limiting this offense, hopefully. Key number 3 is going to be win the turnover battle. Now, this is kind of a self-explanatory key. Like, obviously, if you're going to win the turnover battle, most likely, it's going to help you win the game. Now, the games where the Bears have gotten multiple turnovers and they have not turned the ball over, obviously, we have won those games. And when our defense, gets going, when they get their hands on the ball, when they bring back, balls for touchdowns, that's when our defense is at its best. That's the one thing that separates our defense from other defenses is the playmakers that we have on defense that can actually score touchdowns, that can intercept the ball, pick it off. The Bears and the Rams are actually 1 and 2 in turnover differential in the league. The Bears have a plus 12 turnover differential while the Rams have plus 11. So it's going to be a good defensive battle to see who, wins the turnover battle. And it could be similar to the Chiefs game where both quarterbacks turn the ball over a lot. They still have good games, but they have a lot of turnovers, which, hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully Trubisky does not fumble, does not, throw interceptions as much as Jared Goff does. But it's going to be tough with that amazing defensive line. And finally, key number 4 is going to be use the weather and the crowd to your advantage. Guys, we're playing a team from sunny California that's used to playing in 50-degree weather all the time. Obviously, they're still football players, so they're still tough. They're going to be able to still play in the cold. But the Bears, we are from Chicago. We have to represent our city in this game and use the crowd and the weather to our advantage. Our players by now, they should be used to playing in the cold. Like the Vikings game 2 weeks ago, that was a pretty cold game, and this game is looking like it's going to be cold as well. The temperature right now is supposed to be, I think, 20 degrees at kickoff time, so with the wind chill, it's probably going to be in the teens, maybe 10 degrees. And since it's going to be this cold, I want our defense to really hit the Rams as hard as he possibly can. If you guys have played sports in the cold, especially like football or even other sports like, track, soccer, whatever, it really hurts when you get hit in the cold. I don't know why, but it's just that you feel every single hit a lot more, and it's a lot harder to breathe because your lungs are completely frozen. So the Bears, we should be used to this by now, but the Rams, not so much. So I want our defense to hit hard, and the crowd, we have to get hyped the entire game. Give this defense some energy, even give the offense some energy, but be quiet, obviously, when they're on offense. But I love that our team plays to the crowd. Like, whenever a big play happens, the team just gets fired up, tries to pump up the crowd even more. So if you're going to this game, you better not have your voice at the end of this game. If you have your voice, then you failed as a fan. So finally, let's get into my prediction for this game. And I actually have the Chicago Bears beating the Los Angeles Rams 28-27 in Soldier Field in what's going to be one of the most exciting games of the entire year. Now, you can accuse me of being a homer all you want, but even an objective fan can think that the Bears, they have a chance to win this game. I mean, we're going to be at Soldier Field, and the Rams, they have not faced a defense like our defense. We have the best defense in the NFL. The Rams have never faced anything like that, so I don't know how they're going to react. Obviously, they're still going to have a lot of success because they have so many playmakers on offense, but I really feel like our defense is going to do a good enough job to keep this Rams offense at least partially neutralized. And our offense, on the other hand, they're going to have a phenomenal day as well. It's just going to be a total team effort. Like, our offense, they're going to have to rely on Trubisky in this one. Trubisky is going to have to be, completely solid. He's going to have to prove to the NFL that he is, a young superstar quarterback as well, which, he's shown flashes of, but he has to prove in this game. And our offense as a whole, I mean, against this Rams defense that hasn't been too great, I think we have a chance to score a lot of points. If it gets into a shootout, like I'm kind of predicting, 28-27, I think we can score that many points on a Rams defense that hasn't been that great. Now, obviously, Aqib Talib is back, so that's going to make it a lot tougher on Trubisky, but I still feel like we have so many playmakers, we have so many weapons, that we have enough to beat this defense. And the MVP for this game, I actually have being Tariq Cohen. Tariq Cohen is going to be a mismatch nightmare wherever he lines up in this game. I mean, he can be a slot receiver, he can go out the backfield, he can run the ball, he can do whatever you want. And I just think that he's going to have a phenomenal game again, back-to-back phenomenal games, and he's going to prove to the NFL that he's probably one of the most explosive players in the entire league. I think he gets, 120, 130 scrimmage yards, maybe a touchdown, maybe two, maybe a passing touchdown. You never know. I mean, Tariq Cohen can do it all. So he's going to have a big day, but look for, a lot of people on our defense to have big days, and offense as well. I think Khalil Mack is going to have a good day as well. Akeem Hicks, he's going to be, very hungry. You got Allen Robinson, Taylor Gabriel. Like, we have so many star players now, and they have to show up in this game, and I think they will. So that's going to wrap up my video. As always, leave your comments down below. Let me know what you guys think about my predictions, if you agree, if you disagree, who you think the MVP is going to be, and so on. Like I said earlier, I cannot wait to watch this game because there's just so many storylines to follow. Like, two of the youngest quarterbacks in the NFL going at it, two of the youngest, brightest head coaches, two of the biggest cities, two of the most dominant defensive players. So even if you're just an NFL fan, this is going to be a very fun, entertaining game to watch. But our Chicago Bears, there's something special this year, and they're going to go into Soldier Field, and they're going to pull out this insane victory against the best team in the NFL. So Chris Collinsworth, Al Michaels, get ready to talk about this team. I know you love talking about Aaron Rodgers, you love talking about Tom Brady. It's time to start talking about the Chicago Bears. 9-5, let's get it. Bear down.